check that you cannot cash. Being authentic is being bold. Being authentic is being bold. On that basketball team, my roommate, he had a dream. He said, hey, listen, I want to play Division I basketball. I want to transfer. We were at junior college, he and I. Small school in the middle of nowhere. This is like Division III, right? We got to pay our own room and board. And guess what? Our record, as he's talking to me about all of this, our record is like 4-17.
Oh my God.
4-17, right? And he says, hey man, I want to play Division I. I don't know how I got into this mess here at this program, everything like that, but I want to play Division I. And now look, right now we're not even having any recruiter from even Division III coming here to watch us play. What am I going to do? So we had a conversation and I said, listen, do you believe that of all the 300 Division I schools that you cannot make a roster? He said, yes, I think I can. I said, there's about 700 point guards. So do you believe that you can make the roster for one? So we had a talk. He said, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. He wanted to go to Texas Southern University, TSU. At that time, we had no money. And as God would just have it, there was a girl at our junior college in Illinois. And that's Texas. She said, hey, Steve, I'm going to Texas. You know, I heard you applied, school, whatever it is. Do you want to ride with me? Because I don't want to drive alone. So I said, look, just go there and talk to the coach. We had this whole script. Hey, Steve, you're going to go there and say, hey, my name is Stephen Payne. You know, I came from this school, blah, blah, blah. Our record is XYZ. But I think I'm better than that, and I'm here because I want to play, I want to try out and everything, right? I mean, we said that stuff every day. So he went there, he knocked on the coach's door. And guess what? Man, he worked.
Wow.
That thing worked. So, a couple of months in the season, I hadn't transferred yet. I was a year behind him. I red shirt. We watching TV, and you know, he's there doing the layup and different things like that. So, be authentic, be bold. Okay. The next one is competence. Know what you are doing as a leader. Someone said, be on the ground, right? Know what you're doing, be competent. And that's very important, that you know what you're doing when you're on the ground. My father is in Liberia, and my dad loves Liberia. He hardly ever leaves. To get him to leave Liberia is a headache, right? He doesn't like to leave. He runs this financial institution. It's called the Liberian Finance and Trust Corporation. It's right there on Broad Street in Buchanan, this big building. My dad had the license, and he was doing well as a bank. About 20 years ago, the bank was running. His idea back then, it sounds strange, but this was in the 80s, 70s, and 70s. He said, hey, I want to have a bank that caters to the market women, local people, right? Because back then we had Citibank, if I'm not mistaken. And you had a couple other banks, but they didn't have small accounts. Long story short, the war happened, 20 years, the license and all that stuff went away. He's been working, trying to get these things going. But every time you talk to my dad, he's always like, hey, this is where the goal is. So last year, I went back, and we just had to establish certain things, right? The website, the team, the application, the processes, some of these things that you need to run. It seems minor, but it's very important, and we have a staff. So that's what I did. I went back there, helped to get those things going and get those things up. So we're still trying to work through it. But the main thing is, if you don't know what you're doing and you're not on the ground, you can't relate to the people that are there. Right? You cannot relate. You know, I have, every Sunday, we have a meeting at my place. We have the food and I have the team come and we break bread. So one time they didn't show up, like, what's going on? Say, we don't have no money to show up for the, you know, we have no. Hey. If you're Liberian, you know what I mean, right? If you run a business, you do everything. For those of us who know, we know. So that's the next thing is know what you're doing. And then lastly is testing. Testing. You have to put people through some tests. It can be a small test. It can be a big test. But if you have a team of people around you, before you go into some serious stuff, you have to have those little battles, those little tests. Because it is within those little tests that you can correct the little things that you can fine tune. Or you can even decide that, hey, this is not the right position for this person, X, Y, Z. So team dynamics, right people, be authentic, boldness, competent. You have to know what they're doing, or you have to know what you're doing so you can train them. And then testing. And last one I want to leave you with, and I'll open the floor, is there's something called, I don't know if anybody have a military background, but there's something called the Creed of a Non-Commissioned Officer. So in the U.S. military, you always have an officer, which is a lieutenant, captain. Always next to them, you have a sergeant or a master sergeant. Always. You go to any military area, you have the lieutenant speaking to you, any officer, you look right around him somewhere, the sergeant is going to be right there. Always. Always. So in your organization, you have to have someone that is right there. Like we talk about leadership transition, right? So it says this. It starts with this. It says, no one is more professional than I. The creed of a non-commissioned officer. That's what it says. The first sentence. No one is more professional than I. I am a non-commissioned officer, a leader of soldiers. As a non-commissioned officer, I realize that I am a member of a time-honored corps, which is known as the backbone of the Army. I am proud of the Corps of Non-Commissioned Officer and will at all times conduct myself so to bring credit to the Corps, the Army, and to my country. Regardless of the situation in which I find myself, I will not use my grade or position for pleasure, profit, personal safety. That's the identity right there that they want you to have. That's the identity that's established. Then the next part it talks about is purpose. Competence is my watchword. Right? He says competence is my watchword. So with that being said, there's more to it and everything. But that's just one, you can always go look it up. But now I want to open the floor. Right? We got what, 5 minutes or 10 minutes?
I'll let them.
All right.
I'll take my job here. All right, let's give it up for Mr. King. Thank you. All right, so we'll open the floor for a few questions. We have another presenter that's coming up after him, and then we'll break for lunch and do what we do. So, I see my money hand up over here. Yeah.
Question. The chairman of the board director for this program.
So good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You spoke about knowing what you were doing, and it goes back. I want to take it back a little bit to you were talking about the younger generation. Years ago, I served as the president of the Liberian Association in our community. Now I just sit back again. We give it to the young people to get run the association, but they don't know what they're doing. What am I trying to say? Okay, when you took over, there was a bank account, you have to file X, Y, and Z. Now you're not doing more than that. And like for somebody like me, when I try to go in and question and say, you diploma, you can't come here, you be talking plenty, but we see they're wrong, and they're not doing what they're supposed to do, and they don't want us to tell them.
Before you answer, president of our very own eminent Emmanuel Sonny, who just came from Columbus, Ohio.
A board member of the association.
Honorable Wenty, how you doing? Please, I want to know what's going on with the. Are we able to run for president? Good. I think Ebola, right? We had Ebola in 2014. I think it was 2014 we had Ebola. And we're in 2025 now, so about 10 years. I'm 43, so back then I was 33. Actually, I don't know if you know Alfred Bien, the name Pape Bien. Anyway, these are some leaders in California, LA, and they were instrumental in helping us because we were the muscles and we were doing some of the land work and everything. But we did the numbers, the accounting, and different things like that. But one thing that I do know is if you have a strong board of directors, if you have a strong board of directors, that can be very helpful. And also, the other approach to that, of course, with young people, what I see happen is that when you're done serving, when most people are done serving in the executive role, they step completely away. And they're completely arm's length. And so the only time they get a chance to say something is when they have like a board meeting or something like that. By then it's too late. So my only advice is that if you step away from the executive, is to have something in there that says that even if you go to the board of directors, that you're still doing something active. You have to. It's very important. In California for us, our board, the executive, we transitioned them to the board, but we're very much involved. And when I was the president, it was hands-on. Some of the members were hands-on, and that's why I needed like 3 or 4, especially with the accounting and like different things that have to hold each other accountable. So you have to have something like that in place, and you also have to find a way to continuously be relevant and stick yourself in there because it's important. Financially, you love the organization, you love the community, and one of the things we all know is that if the financial goes wrong, right, the community scatters for about 2 or 3 years, right? So if you don't want that, you just have to, because young people sometimes they don't know that. They do not know that. So you have to continuously look for ways.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? discussing these two, and then we'll bring up the next.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. King, for the presentation. I know you spoke on team building, and which is important to for us who have organizations or ideas, and you being bored, being competent, going to test, and you mentioned getting the right people.
Yes.
And that caught my attention because the first speaker spoke about structure. You have a good structure. The second speaker spoke about skills.
Right.
Now, team building, getting the right people. How do you get the right people to work in the organization to have your mission accomplished, your purpose carried out? How do you get the right people? What do you look for in those people?
Thank you. Before I answer, does anyone have an answer to that? How do you get the right people? Well, I think we all have some ideas, but I just want to, let me give it to her and see what she recommends.
Who says something?
Ms. P?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let me try it. The right people, like, I'll give an example. You want an accountant, and you go get a sister who is a nurse. How would she put your books together? You understand what I'm saying? That's how you go about. I mean, you can follow that example and see. That's how you get it right. You want an accountant, you go on the D, you put LinkedIn, you put application out there. I want an accountant for this business. You describe the business, and then okay, you hire someone to even do the hiring for you. You're the appropriate person, especially in this America, everything is not professional. I hope I answered the question.
King would just brush it up now and then we'll put the next two guys over there. The two more questions then.
Right. The skills you are, I think, intelligent enough to know you need certain skills in what positions. But one thing I will say is this. When you're looking to get your team and you're forming your team or whatever, the person you're looking, if for some reason the people who are close to you that you guys are vetting that person, if you guys start to have arguments that you normally would not have between, as your decision makers, if you guys are starting to have arguments, or you guys are starting to walk away and not see, you have this combativeness, disagreement, right? And it doesn't normally happen. You have to be wary of the person that you're getting, that you're looking at, because that person may not be the fit, because they're going to continue to drive a wedge, right? And I see that a lot, is that because that person is playing the two of you, and that's organization behavior 101, right? They step in there, they're manipulating the two of you. You guys never had arguments, and now you're having arguments, right? And it shouldn't be that. You want people that bring a cohesiveness together. They can be skilled, they can have that skill set, but if you get someone that has a Machiavellian or manipulative agenda, no matter how good they are, they're always going to use that to just discourage the organization from where you guys are going. So that's important.
Thank you. We got two more questions. I will take those two questions and then you will let them know.
Go ahead, Doc. Thanks so much for the presentation. Just a practical example of my experience in Liberia end of the period, I decided to do my personal duty to present as a team lead. And we gave out money to 1 or 2 persons to run some area. Later on, time to ask for a report. There was no report. They felt that you could not trust them, so it was a red flag. So I said, we're out of, so to just cut a long conversation short, out of 10 to 11 persons recruited, you'd be surprised before I left from Liberia after a month or 2, we could only hire 30% of the team based on the skill that was developed to be able to evaluate them. Some were not even taking our responsibility in time. They have a time for meeting, they won't come in time. People just want to job. So I think what Mr. Kim said is very much key, knowing the right people. You have to run some tests to be able to know that yes, these people fit for the team.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, Dr. William King, for that presentation. Team building and giving powerful stories. I love that. The leader compromised to achieve something. And that's what I want to just bring to the leaders that are here. Oftentimes we build a standard that we all have to, that core value. You have to meet this standard before you can be part of the team. Even if you have people who are qualified to be part of the team, but they don't have that standard that you want from them. Bible says Proverbs 29 verse 18, where there is no vision, the people perish. But also in powerful style, where there is no people, no matter how sophisticated and powerful that vision is, it also perish. So sometimes to achieve as a leader, you have to compromise to succeed so that you can be a right thing.
Good.
Thank you. Sir?
And I wanted to talk a little bit when you say how you know the right people, how you know the right people. You've been saying that. How will you hire a nurse for a accounting position? Not saying she's wrong, but I don't think being an accounting for an accounting job make you the right person. I feel like you let the example you made on the young kid that went to the coach and you have to prepare to go to the coach and you have to say, I'm the right person, put me to the job. Now you have to prove the way he's just told the coach. Because, yes, he's a player, that does not make him the right person. You have to prove it, you have to show it. So I feel like when you show, make you the right person. Not when you being an accountant or being a nurse. We have bad nurses and bad doctors out here. So it's when you show to us, make you the right person.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, okay? I think for Liberia, in the government here, they talk about when they have a job, they have the ranking factors. Yeah. And those ranking factors relate to your experiences, where you've worked, and what you've done to relate to the job that you're applying for. And then within that, they have the goal, the objective of the organization, where is it going? So if you cannot answer the ranking factors, you're not going to get a job. Because you failed the goal, you don't understand where the organization is moving. So I think we need to rethink that before you can be a specialized professional individual, but you cannot even answer those questions because you don't have the experience, even though you have a master's or you have a certification and stuff like that. So we need to also look at that when we discuss this particular topic further. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alfonso Samucar.
Good afternoon.
I'm the youth chair for the Liberian Association of Pennsylvania. So, Mr. King, thank you for your presentation. I would like to make a comment on the young man in this community. And as Pastor Singleton was saying, sometimes we have to have the vision. The vision I had, I came to the church and I presented it to all the leaders of the different county organizations and national organizations. And at first, I started with myself, you know, and we had this one program we had, which is the honorary ceremony, and at first it was 2 brothers that had the program, and they only brought a fraction of the Liberian community. And when they brought me on board and I went to the second event, I said, no, it can't be like this. So I went and I petitioned all the leaders in our community because I was pushing for unity. Everybody had to be represented at the end of the day. So moving forward now, it was all about building a competent team. And when it comes to creating a team, you need people that have the passion, that have the skill set. So 3 years passed, and after that, I was able to build a team. I have 3 brothers on my team. One is into human resources, one do paralegal work, one do marketing. And I got 3 sisters on my team. One do content creation, one do grant writing, and the other one she put our proposal together. So with having my team now, they say that if you want to go fast, go by yourself, but if you want to go far, go as a team. You know, so with that being said, you always have to have the spirit of discernment when you're working with different group of people, because you know, business and politics, they go hands in hand. You never know at the end of the day what somebody's interest is. So with that being said, I agree with everything you were saying. You know, I agree with all of you as well. So that's it.
I just wanted to say, really quickly, piggybacking on what they said about how do you know you have the right person on the team, is just like with your story, Dr. King, where you had a person, they turned out not to be the right person, but you still have to have the right 5 people on the floor. So you couldn't say, well, our 2 people had to go, you found somebody else. So in this course, many times you'll have to get rid of people and find somebody else. If you know what you're looking for, just don't settle. Give that person an opportunity. Sometimes people have a passion and need to be taught. But when they got the passion and not showing up, then have a conversation. And, you know, so it's a revolving door sometimes until you lock in something. But just don't give up. Keep looking. Don't settle.
Thank you. Thank you.
Someone, please connect with Pastor Green because she says she does mental health, right? Okay. I know, it's okay. That's why we got your back. We got your back. So, one point of correction. I'm not a doctor. I have my MBA, but I'm not a doctor. So, let's leave the title for our Honorable Pakume Judge. He's the doctor. So just want to, because I think to be a doctor, you have to go through so much. And yeah, so it's going to be a whole lot of work. So with that being said, of course, I couldn't cover a lot of stuff, but just those few pointers I hope you leave with for this ALWDO, the leadership. So as you embark in this next journey, the fundraising, building, and everything, it's a lot of vetting, it's a lot of hard work. A lot of vetting, a lot of hard work. And if it was easy, everybody would do it, but it's not. So take the time, get the right people on your team, and thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Mr. King. Let's give it up for Mr. King, y'all. Yeah. Thank you. You're on time. And on point. All right, who's back there? We have one more presenter. Please be patient with us. We know the time is moving, but let's have a seat. At this time, I would like to bring to the podium Mr. Prince Kapia from Baltimore Fire Department, Maryland.
Good afternoon, everyone. I still didn't hear anybody, so I'm going to say it again. Good afternoon. Okay, let me just do a quick introduction real quick. My name is Prince Kapia. I'm a battalion fire chief with the Baltimore City Fire Department. It's a job I've had for well over about 15 years now. Baltimore City Fire Department has been around since 1797. And about 2.5 years ago, I became the first Liberian fire chief ever appointed to the So quick background real quick. Myself, along with a young man that's not able to make it here today because he had another engagement. His name is Guy Come Away. He's from Chicago. We own an organization called the International Training Group. And last year, we saw the fire issue that was actually going on in Liberia, which is still continue to go on. Our organization, working with another guy named Patrick McDermott from Chicago, we donated over $500,000 worth of equipment to the Liberian National Fire Service during that May 5th International Fire Day last year. And a few months later, we donated about another $50,000 worth of fire hoses to them. So when we saw the Capitol fire going on, which was tragic, all the fire hoses that they used to put that fire out, it made But our eventual goal is to do more as far as fire prevention in the country. We know that's a serious thing. And that's why having conversations such as this among ourselves as Liberians to see how we can tackle the issues and the problems that we nation even from a far distance. And even having the senator here with us today is a good thing because hopefully she can be an advocate for fire prevention in the country. But even with that, all of us sitting here, we consider ourselves what? Leaders, right? And this morning, when we started off the conversation, one of the things that we talked about was what? Structure and development. Then we went to the resources, and then we just finished our conversation with what? Team building, right? We talked extensively about team building. But each and every one of us sitting here, ask yourself, and we have to ask ourselves this, and I was waiting for someone to ask this question. What type of a leader do you say that you are? If I was to ask your employees, or anyone that's associated with you, what would they say about you as a leader? What kind of a leader are you?
That's good.
Are you adaptive? Are you transactional? Where if you give me something, I'll give you something back? Are you a dictatorial? Are you progressive? What exactly is your leadership? And how does your leadership style affect your organization? We have to ask ourselves these questions. We talked about all the hallmarks of it. But what type of a leader am I? And if I also ask one of your employees or someone that's close to you, what do you think they would say about you as a leader? Think about it. If I was to ask someone that's close to you, that have watched you for years, what type of a leader will they say that you are? Is it situational? Where depending on the situation, you're liable to change your mind and your viewpoint?
Wow.
Are you a servant leader, where you're more concerned about, let's get the job done. Let's do what's in the best interest of the public. Let's do what's in the best interest of everyone. Yeah. About Jesus Christ earlier, right? Jesus was what kind of a leader? A servant leader.
Yes.
Right? Do you see yourself as that? Are you laissez-faire, as they say, where anything goes, right? Whatever happens, right? The bank account doesn't match up with the numbers of the sales. Well, whatever. What type of a leader are you? Two questions I need everyone who's writing to ask themselves and think about. What are your two strengths and two things that you see yourself as a leader that you know you're good at? Think enhancing, right? Because when we think about the word enhancing, getting better, right? We enhance something, it's better than what it was.
Yes.
So what are two things that you as a leader know that you're really good at? But also think about what type of a leader you are. So now that you've thought about those two things, what are two weaknesses as a leader that you have? Because we all can't be good at everything as we've learned today, right? That's why we have institutions in place, right? That's why we have resources. That's why we have group dynamics that we have to build. So what are two weaknesses that you have as a leader that you feel that you need to work on? With that being said, some of the questions that we have to ask ourselves for this discussion is, what are some ways that you and I can continue to enhance our leadership skills? Well, one thing that we have to continue to do is to what? Seek knowledge.
Yes.
We have to keep learning. John Henry Clark, for those who study Pan-Africanism, said that no one person has all the knowledge of everybody in the world. So who am I to deprive you from the knowledge that should be given to you? So we continue to seek knowledge by doing what? Learning new skills. Educating ourselves on topics that we need to know more about. Surrounding ourselves with people and like-minded people that think the same way that we do. I wanted to be a fireman as a kid, right? Guess who I hung around? Firemen.
That's right.
And then when I got into the job, I said, you know what? This fireman pay is okay, but I want to be a battalion chief. That's where the good money's at. So guess who I started hanging around? All the battalion chiefs. And you know what came with that? I started picking off to their knowledge. They had more years in the job. Because I made battalion chief in like 12 years, and that was unheard of.
Wow.
But because of the people that I surrounded myself around,
See, there you go.
enhanced my skills.
There you go. There you go.
Right? So as a leader, ask yourself, am I seeking knowledge from people that have more knowledge than me? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Just because you're old, don't. So it's a lot of young people, and we had the conversation earlier about the generational gap. From the Gen Zs to the millennials, to the, I think it's the Generation Y, the baby boomers, who put them all in the same category, right? Generation X, I forgot that one too. We understand the generational gap. But that does not mean that we can't learn something from each other.
That's right.
That's part of what? Leadership.
That's right.
To understand that, you know what? I don't have all the answers. So I'm going to rely on Pastor Green. I'm going to rely on Mr. King. I'm going to rely on I'm going to rely on anyone that can teach me something that I don't know.
That's right. That's good.
So we have to learn to adapt. Another thing that we have to keep in mind with regards to this is to identify what we call our strengths and weaknesses. What we're good at, what we're bad at. There's nothing wrong with that. That's called a self-reflection. That's when you wake up in the mirror, when you wake up in the morning, and the first thing you look in the mirror and say, I don't look too good right now. Right? Then what do? You go into the shower, you brush your teeth, you freshen up. And before you leave the house and you look in that mirror again, what do you say to yourself? Damn, I look good. Right? That's what? Our strengths and weaknesses. My weakness when I got up, I didn't want to do anything. Right? But when I left the house, I had my cup of coffee. You know, I took my shower, I put my good cologne on, my good perfume on, whatever it was. When I left the house, I was the best version of myself. As a leader, find out what your strengths and what your weaknesses are and work on them. And seek help in working on them. And also seek feedback. Ask people for help. It is absolutely nothing wrong with asking someone that's more knowledgeable about a particular topic for help. Folks come to me at work and say, Chief, can you do this? Can you do that? Depending on who the person is, I'll just tell them, just call me Prince. It's not that serious. Because I've developed relationships with a lot of folks. And nothing wrong with me asking what they may deem a firefighter, who's pretty much at the lowest level, to say, hey, you know more about this than I do. How do I fix it? And he's looking at me sometimes like, Chief, should I be telling you? Yes, tell me. I don't know. Educate me. So as the leader, it's important that we seek feedback from anyone. A child can teach you things. For those who have children, your child is teaching you things on a daily basis. I remember the pastor saying, child teaching you. Right? Coming from someone, as we say, you're right. You have to personnel skills. Communicate with you. And you're right. You're active listener. Do you show empathy? Are you clear and effective in your communication? When you give instructions and when you get direction, they understand exactly what you want from them. Or are you making it ambiguous? Clear direction goes a long way. And Mr. King mentioned about building a strong team. And he did an excellent job in describing the things that we have to do in order to build a strong team, including collaborating, motivating, and being inspirational towards the people of that team. They're only going to do and move according to the way that they see you move. So there's a song back in the day, when I move, you what? You move, right? So your team will move according to the way that you move. But if you're moving in a direction that's not productive towards the team's growth, your business will not succeed. I do forestry work, lumberjacking, right? In addition to the fire department service that I render. I'm the guy that you see with the little thing where they be cutting the trees down and all that. Anything forestry related, I do that. My team of employees move to my beat. I don't slow down. I'm always working. I'm always laughing. I'm always having a good time. It's strenuous work, but they're motivated by what they see me doing. So your actions will dictate what your team is actually doing. So we always have to keep these things in mind. What are your problem-solving skills like? The fourth part. Critical thinking, problem solving. Are you willing to adapt to situations as they change? A problem come up, you throw your hands up and say, what do? The sky's falling. Or do you look at your team that you built so well and say to that particular team, how do we fix this problem? This brought to my attention. How do we deal with it? And putting together a team of people that you know for a fact that you can work well with, and people who are like-minded just like you. I know I'm almost done. One more part.
Okay.
One more minute.
The other part that we have to keep in mind is mentoring and networking. Now, many of you in here, I've never seen a day in my life. But by the time I leave, I'm hoping we all can exchange information based on the fact that we all have the same like-minded, right? Because we all want our organization, and this great organization that invited all of us here today to do what? To succeed, right? That means we stay in constant contact with each other. We communicate with each other. We share Facebook, social media information to all of us with regards to each other. We network with individuals that have the same mindset as we do, and we build teams like that. I got to cover one more thing. Just one. Go ahead. I know I said that like 5 minutes ago, right?
Thank you.
And I want everyone to do me a favor on this, because this is truly important. And I covered this in one of the classes. Are difficult. Cost of living is going up. Traveling back home is getting more expensive and so forth, right? And the young man mentioned it earlier that he, as far as bringing your children to the event that he's having, it's something called emotional intelligence, right? I'm sure many of us, if you've never heard of it, look it up. It's fascinating reading on emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence has 5 attributes, and we're going to cover them, and I'll try to do it in less than 1 minute. The first one is self-awareness. In part to your emotional awareness, self-awareness is what? Knowing one's limitation. Knowing how far you can go, what your limits are on certain things, and saying, you know what? Enough is enough. This is where I stop. Second part, self-regulations. Control of oneself. There's always that one employee that if you could, say so many words to, that won't get you into HR, you would do that. But knowing how to control yourself. Third part, self-motivation. Are you one of those that can get up and motivate yourself without the motivation of other people? We have to be able to do that. Communication. How well do we communicate? And the other part is our relationships with other people. Do we build strong relationships? And anything that's toxic, get rid of it. It is never that serious. If it's toxic, get rid of it. All these things that we just spoke about, self-awareness, self-regulation, self-motivation, communication, our relationships, are part of the 5 attributes that are connected to emotional intelligence. When we take a look at and listen to all these things that we just talked about in the past 15 minutes, these are skills, and there's many more. I can sit here and talk to you about this thing for like 5 days, that we can use to enhance our leadership skills. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you have just listened to this great presentation.
Yes.
And I can attest to some of the things he said during his casual discussion with him and Mr. Moe from Chicago, who is my political son. I used to take Moe around when I used to go around my own leadership days. But they do have a fire station office where they sell material right on the corner of Crown and Broad, right there, across from the Garden Hotel. So if you're in Monrovia, check it out. Okay, we have an question. Okay. Yeah, okay. I just look at it.
Girl.
Hello, my name is Dr. Tidwell. I just wanted to show something he said. And I know if you go online, you get all the fancy attributes of a good leader. What I was hoping for was like a more, what we see in our community, like a more practical way, what we see in our community.
started the community, we call ourselves the community, a lot of people like to sit back and just watch, but they have a lot of information or a lot of attributes they can bring to the community to build it up. But if you don't have that good interpersonal skills, you will not know what other people have, what they can bring to the table. So that is key. And from my experience, that is so key. And our mode of communication, the way we communicate with each other. We have this attitude of I'm the leader, I'm the boss, I'm the leader, we should have respect and everything. But when you see things differently as a leader, believe me, you can tap into a lot of skills of the people. And then going back to what someone was asking, how do I identify good team member? Using those two things, good communication skills, good interpersonal skills, you can be able to identify good team members. Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Beatrice Ma. I'm the coordinator for the Liberian Association. The president is here. I'd just like to say what John Maxwell said about leadership. That people buy into the vision, into the leader before your vision and your messaging. As a leader, people have to believe in you. You have to have character, integrity, you have to be trusted, and then people will follow your vision. They will not just follow you because of the messages you gave. Somebody can come and give a good message. But if we look into what he said, you as that leader, you have to have people believe in you first. Then they believe in your message and vision. Without that, the people perish. So you have to make your people believe in you. And how do you get the right people? It is challenging to get the right people. But what you can do as a leader, fire fast. If they are not the right fit, no need of you trying to put square pegs in round hole. It's not going to work. It will slow the progress of the organization down, and there will always be in-house fighting. Fire fast and get the right people on the bus, and make sure they stay on the bus with you. Thank you.
Fire fast. That's a new one. Fire fast. Don't take no mess. Fire. Fire and hire.
Hi everybody. My name is Rose, and I've been in leadership for so many years. And my leadership has foundation. I'm a pastor. I have a charitable organization and lead other organizations also. So this is something you asked so many questions, Dr. George, right? I just want to bring to our attention. When you are a leader in an organization, you have several people. You have those who work hard. You have those who are there to see and ask others. You will have those who support financially. You will also have those who just want to see and take stories out there. So as a leader, you need to be aware. You need to communicate. You need to be a listener. And you have to be hands-on also. With all due to everyone's religion, I'm a Christian. I love the story of Nehemiah in the Bible. When God gave him the idea, he prayed to God. He went to the higher up. He showed respect. He put word out there for resources, and then he built a team. And building the team, he was hands-on. He did not just sit there. In our community, what I know, because I'm from the Liberian community, what I noticed is that when we're in a group, like we're having this program, since really I don't know her, I don't want to work because she's not my friend. Even though I have the responsibility to do certain things, but because I don't know sis my money, I'm not going to do that. I know this person is the head. It's rampant in our organizations. Me personally, if you give me a responsibility, I don't care who come around. It's good to build a team, but I will do what I promised to do. So we need to get together as a group emotionally intelligent and detaching yourself from the situation. Does walking away solve the problem, or does it seem unprofessional? How does one calmly handle emotional intelligence in this situation?
Okay.
I like the fact that she just hears something that I was trying to say, because that's what I'm doing right now. And I don't know whether it's working, because I kind of taking myself in my group charges, because I feel like I'm a leader and I don't want to make a mistake. So it's making it hard. So my action right now to be a role model to them is like, what can I do? Because if I see them in the chat room, in the group chat, and they having fun and stuff, I'm afraid to go in there to say something or to do something as a leader, so I can make a mistake. So it's making it very hard. So when she makes that point, what can I do? I keep taking myself out of time, and I feel like I'm missing out becoming a leader.
Thank you.
Okay, I just pray. It sounds like cross and I pray. That's my answer to that. Take it in, Lord, and pray. And sometimes some people make you get out of yourself, but pray. Anyway, I want to thank you for that presentation, sir, and I appreciate all that you do. I just wanted to link with you, because when it came to what was happening in Liberia, the finance situation, especially when gas truck got burned in New County, I was really taken aback, and I was very, very pathetic and sorry for what happened to our people. And so I decided to reach out to the community, people who have lived in that area or people in the area, and who can work along with us to see what could we do. And I put a team together, and they did a project proposal on the psychosocial part of it. And so I'd like to, connect with you and my team to offer you that.
Absolutely.
Okay, that a proposal, and you guys can look into it and see how we can work together from there. I've been looking for people to present it to, and I presented it to the city of Philadelphia, but I would also like to connect with you with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, let me, before I forget, I want to answer a question.
Oh, yeah, I'll come back to the senator. The next few people, yeah. We get.
Mentioned that young lady that just spoke a second ago. We are working on some personal protective equipment, a bunch of stuff that we're supposed to, I think the next 2 weeks, Doc and myself, that's going to Liberia again. So even that area where the field situation happened at, when last year we made like 3 trips to Liberia. This year I think we got like 3 or 4 trips planned already, all fire prevention related. And we try to hit the different counties and so forth just to bring awareness and work with pretty much whomever wants to work with us to say, hey, let's do something in every county. It's possible, but you just got to put the right team together holistically that actually have the same mindset. So definitely love to have that conversation with you. To answer that young lady question, what do you do with regards to a situation like that emotionally? It goes back to the very first thing that we talked about, right? What was the conversation that we actually had this morning? It was about what? Structure and development. What structure in your organization to deal with situations that you're handling? Do you have policies and procedures in place that every single person who's part of your organization has to follow? When you start a new job, what's one of the first things that they do? They give you what? The employee handbook. And it said these are the guidelines and the rules and regulations that you must follow in order to be what? Gainfully employed here. You must show up at 8 o'clock. You can't take lunch till 12 o'clock, right? Go against that and see what happens. Because it's never personal to the employer or to that leader. That's why working on your emotional intelligence is so important. Because you have to separate the business from the personal. That's why we mentioned earlier, and some folks, mentioned that, hey, I got a family member, but I'll fire him. I think that the pastor said that, right? Guess what? I will fire my brother too. He's a smart guy, electrical engineer. Do I want him running into a burning building with me? Ain't no way in hell I'm letting him do it. He's not built like that. Really smart. So when we work in our emotional intelligence, and even in your organization, what policies and procedures do you have in place for anyone that come there? And you just ask them, what is the policy on this particular topic? Do you have what we call a progressive discipline system? Where if this happens, here's your counseling, here's your reprimand, here's your suspension, and here's your termination. It's not personal. And I tell my guys that work that all the time. When that house is on fire, it's not personal. People's lives are at stake. You go in there, you put that fire out. I'll be right behind you, but you put it out. So what policies and procedures do you have in place to say to that particular employee? Because sometimes walking away doesn't solve it. Because if you walk away, guess what you're doing with them? They become emboldened. Oh, she's leaving. Good. I can do something else to pluck her nerves. I can do something else to get on his nerve. I won. Okay, you want to play that game? I got another one. These are the policies. These are the procedures. What does the policy say? So that's why when you start any organization, what are your guidelines? What are your rules of engagement? Put it in writing. Update it from time to time, right? And if somebody doesn't like it, let them leave. I'm not taking it personal. I'm gonna still drink a beer with you. I'm gonna still grab a meal with you. But working in this organization and violating these organizational rules, we're not gonna play that. You have to be firm with it.
Very firm.
Okay, we have a senator over here. When I grew up, I'm being weird.
The issue with Liberian leadership, my name is right here at the back. So we start recently issue opposition senator, then you try to which is not necessary for the conversation. But thank you very much. No, even black woman was helping. I told you I'd rather be all my time, and that's funny. Let's do the people working forget about all the titles. But thank you. You took some of the things I wanted to say out of my mouth. The issue about when we discussed about getting the right people to the team building, we have to also look at what the team values are we established. From the outset, there should be values. There should be the policy that when you bring in new team, they know exactly what they expect and what the lines are, what are expected of them, and even in the evaluation and the recruitment, you know what you're looking for. It's not just the fact that I have a degree or I have a CPA, I'm an accountant. I really understand what am I going there, what is expected of me in terms of the values and what the policies that I'm supposed to be adhering to. Those are things that we have to look at when we are making the right thing. But actually, I told this Mike because when you talk about the contribution that your organization have made to the fire service in Liberia, someone said, and we hear about it. Of course, that is the regular. We usually do not hear the good news. I think that you did your thing with all of social media. So I just want to take this time to say thank you, Libya, for the Liberian.
Wow.